Hey man, shee! Have you ever wondered, how do I get out of the lower ranks? Well, stop searching for the right video, you're at the right place. I'll be pointing out common mistakes for every single rank, and I'll be giving 2 different tips for each rank up until Diamond. And I'm not saying that you are a bad player if you're in those ranks, but it just gets a lot more competitive from Champ and higher. So let's get to these higher ranks, alright? The timestamps for each rank are in the description, but I would not skip a rank because sometimes the most simple tip will get the job done for you. And I learned that the hard way. So if you are tired of sitting in the same rank over and over again, here is how to get out of lower ranks. Let's go. Now for this rank bronze, I won't be taking too much of your time because there's actually not that many people playing in bronze. As you can see in this graph, only a small percentage of Rocket League players are stuck in bronze. And to be honest, most of these players just got the game and are not thinking about improving. So just enjoy your time in the beginning because you will get better naturally. But I do got a nice tip to start off the journey right. Make sure you got the right camera settings. And I got a video on that on my channel, link will be in the description, or you can start off with one of these pro settings. The second tip I can give you is try to get used to playing with ball cam on. It will be so helpful in the long run. Now let's talk about silver, the place where most people start their Rocket League journey. Now the first thing we're going to be talking about is drop shotting. Now drop shotting is a very basic concept in Rocket League, but it's so good to learn in the beginning. With drop shotting you make use of the momentum. Whenever the ball bounces off the ground, you shoot it. You take the initial momentum from the bounce and you use it to your advantage. And that's how you create these big power shots, and those will be super useful in these lower ranks. Because most of the time you will not be dribbling in these lower ranks. And even in higher ranks this can be super useful if you need to buy some time or just want to clear the ball. Now next thing we're going to talk about is back post defending. Now back post defending is a defensive concept. It's where you come from the opposite side of where the ball is coming from. That way you increase your chances of saving the ball. Okay, we may need an example for this one. Let's take a look at what this guy does wrong here. As you can see, the idea was good, he tried to defend it, but he should have positioned right here this circle so that he can rotate into the ball and defend it properly. Because now you don't have to worry about the ball coming over your head, because you get a nice angle. And it should look something like this. You get a nice rotation going, you're at the back post of your goal, so whenever a ball is coming towards you, you got a nice angle to defend it and save the day. Let's go to the gold rank. Okay, and we just talked about rotation and we go further into detail in the gold rank. Because my gold days consisted of me trying to get better mechanically. I tried to learn the best mechanics and crazy aerials and stuff, but I forgot to learn a basic concept of this game, called rotation. And the majority of gold players are stuck in this rank because they don't know basic rotation. Now simply said, rotating is when you make a play at the ball and after that you cycle to defend and let your teammate have the next play at the ball. And the most important thing is that you recognize the moments where you need to rotate. Alright, so here's an example where I should have rotated but I didn't. Here I make a play at the ball and at this point you can see that I should have rotated that way. Because I didn't have a nice angle to go for the ball. But instead, I'm being selfish and I go for the ball. And because I did that, the whole rotation got messed up. We almost bumped into each other when I was on my way back and it all started because I made that wrong decision. And as you can see here, my teammate wanted to go for the ball, but he waited for me to rotate. And because I didn't rotate, my teammate was forced to go back and the whole rotation got messed up. And as you can see from this angle, there was no reason for me to go for the ball at all. And I highly recommend that you guys watch your own replays so that you can see your own mistakes, just like I did here with myself. You can see why it pairs well with back post defending. Here I got a nice rotation going and I came from the back post. That way I always have a nice angle to the ball and I can defend it properly. And please, whenever you make the right decision to rotate, please stick to the rotation. Don't break the rotation like this guy right here. I know it's tempting sometimes, but when you break the rotation, it all gets messed up and you can't get scored on. Now here's a good rotation. I see that my teammate is going for the ball, I rotate in from the back post and I have a nice angle to defend the ball and save the day. Now that brings me to the next point, decision making. Let's move to another example. As you can see right here, the ball's in the air and I have to make a decision to go for the ball or not. Now if you pay attention, you can see that my teammate is still located in their half of the field. So the right decision was to just go back. Instead, I challenged the ball and now we got an open net. Luckily, we get away with it. Now here's an example where I made the right decision. Here I went for the ball, but at the last second, I decided to just go back. Now why did I do that? As you can see, the ball's into the air right here. But here I pay attention to my teammate. He should rotate back, so I can challenge the ball. That would be a nice rotation. But here you can see that my teammate went for the ball selfishly and I have to go back. It's always these teammates. I just can't get out of gold because of my team. Man, let's just go to platinum, alright? Now moving on to platinum, the rank where most of my friends are stuck in, and I got stuck in the first time as well. I've seen tons of replays and we gotta talk about kickoffs. Now kickoffs are not the most flashy thing to learn in the beginning, I know, we all want to learn some other things, but kickoffs are so important. And it's funny to me that some people think that kickoffs are lucky and that you don't need any skill for it, but we are going to prove them wrong. And yes, I do know the kickoff with the speed flip, as shown right here, is the best kickoff at the moment, but I got an even easier option for you guys that brought me all the way to champ. The forward flip. Now the forward flip is very basic, just like its name, but pay attention to some key points that I'm mentioning right here. Now I'm starting the kickoff with 2 seconds of boost. When I'm flipping, I'm letting go of my boost. And whenever the boost is facing towards me, I press boost for another second until I go supersonic. And after that, I flip in the ball at the last possible second. Now notice that after my flip, I press the boost just for a second so that I can get into supersonic. That way, I'm not using all my boost, and so I have a little bit of boost left to make a play after I win the kickoff. Most of the players use all their boost in their kickoff, and that's the main mistake I see in these kickoffs. Now the second mistake is that I see people not flipping into the ball at the last possible second. They flip too early or too late. And another thing is that they don't hit the center of the ball. I know if you want to get the ball to the left or to the right, you have to adjust to it, but most of the time you want to just hit the center of the ball. Because believe me, if you hit the center and they hit it a little bit to the left or to the right, I guarantee you that you will win the kickoff. And I know that in doubles or in standards, you don't always want to win the kickoff because you want to have the ball in your possession. But that's for higher ranks, and in the future I will dedicate a video just for kickoffs. And this kickoff brought me all the way to champ, so I know it can get you out of the platinum ranks. But for now, try to learn kickoffs. In 1v1s is the best place to learn kickoffs. Moving on to the next tip. Now I'm gonna be honest guys, this next tip is something we all have to hear, but we don't want to hear. I'm talking about jumping off walls. Now jumping off walls, I know that it's cool and that you want to make big plays like this dude right here. No, but in all seriousness, this is 90% of the plays that I see in platinum. People don't know how to behave on the wall. It's just, sometimes it's unreal how people are playing on the wall. And I know the stuff that you see right here online looks super good, and I don't say that you guys are bad players, but we gotta slow down for a bit. And trust me guys, one day we'll all be as cool as this dude and make goals like this. But for now we're in platinum, so I will give you guys a couple of simple tips, but the main thing right here is keep it simple and minimize the risks. Because most of the time we take big risks and we'll get scored on. Now the first option is to just shoot the ball without jumping off the wall. That way you minimize your risks, and most of the time it's enough to make a play out of it. Now the second option is to fake the shot. That way you move the opponent back to their half and you make them scared. And when they're not scared and they challenge the ball, just fake the challenge. Go back to your half and they will give you a free ball. But most of them will be scared. Believe me. But on a serious note guys, please don't jump off walls, minimize your risks, and you'll get out of platinum in no time. Now moving on to the final rank of this video, I'm going to talk about diamond players. Now the first thing we're going to talk about is recovery. Recovery is very important in this rank because game speed is everything. If you have a bad recovery, like this dude right here, you will be having a bad time because oftentimes it can cost you the game. And trust me guys, being fast in diamond will get you ahead of the rest of the competition. So let's jump into how to do it. The first tip I can give you is bind your air roll. And no, I'm not talking about air roll left or right, but I'm talking about the free air roll. And I got my air roll on L1. This way when you press the button and you hold it and you move your joystick, you can turn your car freely around in the air. And that will make it possible to get the right recovery, as I'm showing you in these examples. Now the second thing you can do to improve your recovery is learning how to half flip. Guys, it helped me a ton when I first learned it. And I got a tutorial on my channel, the link will be in the description, definitely check it out if you haven't already. And moving on to the third and final recovery tip, try to use your flip whenever you get bumped. As you guys can see in this slow motion, whenever I got bumped, I flip mid-air so that I have time to recover and use my air roll mid-air. And trust me, it definitely helps your recovery. Now moving on to the final tip of this video, I'm going to be talking about shooting. Now guys, I'm excited about this one because a lot of people in diamond ranks don't know how to shoot properly. I know it's not that fancy to go into training packs and learn how to shoot better, but we all need it. I've seen some horrendous shot in these diamond rings, and guys, you'll get out of diamond in no time. At least once you know how to shoot properly. And I got a video on how to shoot better in Rocket League. Definitely check that video out if you want to get more in depth, but in this video I will give you some key tips to shoot better. And man, I got so frustrated whenever I missed an open net, and I never wanted that to happen again. So I committed myself to doing a training pack every day. Before I would start a rank session, I would go into these custom training packs for about 20 minutes, and every session that I did this, I've seen improvements in my shooting. And trust me, I did not want to do this because I was a guy who was like, man, I just want to get into these ranked games and get to Grand Champ as fast as possible. But guys, this helped me a ton in my game, so definitely give this a shot. And guys, you don't always have to aim for the goal. You can just hit the backboard as well and turn your shot into a passing play. And guys, another tip I can give you is don't be predictable with your shots. Learn different type of shots. Learn how to shoot from a bounce dribble, learn how to drop shot, or just learn how to aerial shot. These are all different kind of shots that you can surprise your opponent with. And yes, I know I promised you guys 10 easy tips, but I got a final bonus tip for whoever came to this point of the video. I appreciate you guys. And now the final bonus tip is, please guys, don't solo queue into these ranked games. Try to play with a friend or someone you are familiar with, because you can adjust to each other's playstyle. That's when I found the most success. And yes, I do know that there's not always a friend available to play with, so if you do want to rank up when you're solo queuing, please stick to a safer rotation. Sometimes your teammate just wants to ball chase, and I know it's frustrating sometimes, but at some point we just have to take the hit and play a safe rotation, and eventually we will rank up. I promise you guys. I know it gets frustrating sometimes, but sometimes we have to do what we gotta do, so definitely keep this final bonus tip in mind. And with that being said, I want to thank you guys for the amazing support. 400 subscribers. My next video will be a channel update and more on the future for this channel, and maybe some info for the face reveal. God bless and see you next time.